Hello, everyone. In today's lesson, we'll figure out where exactly the negation NICHT should go in a sentence. Yes, this is a very common question in language courses. Where should I put it correctly? Let's break this down today. And while we're at it, please give a like. Let's go. Just like in Russian, in German, negation can either negate the entire sentence or just a specific part of speech. Let's take a look. Today, I won't go to the movies with you. You're negating the whole sentence. You could also say, I'm not going to the movies with you today, but tomorrow, for example. Or, I'm not going to the movies with you today. So, as you can see, we either negate the entire sentence or negate a specific part of the sentence. If in German, we negate the entire sentence and don't emphasize anything, the negation goes at the very end of the sentence. Take a look. Das mache ich nicht. I won't do that. Das funktioniert nicht. It doesn't work. Or, ich komme heute nicht. I won't come today. Just like in Russian, negation in German always comes before adjectives, because often we negate the adjective. For example, das ist nicht lecker. This is not tasty. Because we want to say that it's not tasty. Or, das ist wirklich nicht süß. It really isn't sweet. Or, das kommt nicht schnell. This won't come quickly. Or, another example, Sie arbeiten nicht fleißig. You don't work diligently. There are also cases when we want to emphasize a specific adjective in the sentence. For example, I just can't sleep calmly. Here, we want to emphasize the adjective. In this case, we start with it. Ruhig kann ich nicht schlafen. Calmly, I can't sleep. In this case, we can't say, nicht ruhig. That would mean, not calmly, I can sleep. But we want to say, I can't sleep calmly, so we place the negation at the end of the sentence, but the adjective gets highlighted by placing it at the start of the sentence, like this. Ruhig kann ich nicht schlafen. Calmly, I can't sleep. Or, langsam kann ich nicht sprechen. Slowly, I can't speak slowly at all. Fleißig kann nicht arbeiten. Diligently, he can't work diligently. Or, langsam kann ich nicht essen. Slowly, I can't eat slowly. So, that's the third point we've discussed, showing where to use the negation nicht in a sentence. Let's move on to the fourth point. As we've already established, in a sentence, you can only emphasize one thing. For example, I'm not taking the train, I'm taking the bus. In this case, you would say, Ich fahre heute nicht mit dem Zug, sondern mit dem Bus. In other words, you're not taking the train, but the bus. Here, we're emphasizing the word train, so the negation nicht goes before this word. Also, we know the rule. If we negate a noun, the negation nicht turns into kein. For example, Ich habe kein Geld. I don't have any money. But what if we want to say, I actually don't have any money? Everything else is there, but no money. In this case, we move the word Geld to the beginning of the sentence, like this. Geld habe ich nicht. From this example, we can see that we can no longer use kein, and so we go back to using nicht. Compare again. Geld habe ich nicht. Money, I don't have it. Ich habe kein Geld. I don't have any money. So we use the negation kein as required. Or, Geld habe ich nicht. Money, I don't have it. And another example, ich habe ihr keine Einladung geschickt. I didn't send her an invitation. Oops, I forgot. You can also say, the invitation, I actually didn't send it to her. In this case, we move die Einladung, the invitation, to the front of the sentence and say, Die Einladung habe ich ihr nicht geschickt. The invitation, I didn't send it to her. Next point. If the sentence contains a collocation of a noun and verb, where the noun must be in the accusative case, that is, in the direct object case. Here are examples. Autofahren, Klavier spielen, Gitarre spielen, Bücher lesen, and so on. So, as you can see, in these sentences, the noun is in the accusative case, which means the negation nicht will be placed before the noun in the accusative case. For example, fährt nicht Auto, he doesn't drive a car. We can't say fährt Auto nicht. While this might sound grammatically correct, It doesn't sound quite right. Since Auto is in the accusative case, we say fährt nicht Auto, where nicht comes before the accusative noun. Another example, liest nicht Bücher. We could say liest keine Bücher. He doesn't read any books, which means he doesn't read any books at all. But if we want to say he doesn't read books, then we don't emphasize the word books, but rather the action doesn't read. In this case, we say liest nicht Bücher. We can't say liest Bücher nicht. It sounds strange, although both are grammatically correct. But it's better to say liest nicht Bücher, because Bücher is in the accusative case. Another example, Thomas, wir fahren nicht mit dem Auto. Thomas, we're not going by car. Negation nicht is often used before the location adverb that is combined with a preposition. It might sound complicated, but take a look. Ich fahre nicht nach Berlin. I'm not going to Berlin. We can't say, ich fahre nach Berlin nicht. While this might still be correct, it's better to put nicht before the location phrase combined with the preposition. Ich fahre nicht nach Berlin. Another example, Sie wohnen nicht in Polen. They don't live in Poland. You see, it wouldn't be correct to say, Sie wohnen in Polen nicht. That sounds strange, but Sie wohnen nicht in Polen works perfectly because Poland is a location that's associated with a preposition. So, not always, but most often, it's best to place nicht before a location adverb that's paired with a preposition. Let's move on. A couple more examples. I didn't bring him food. Essen habe ich ihm nicht gebracht. The sentence would ideally sound like, Ich habe ihm kein Essen gebracht. But we transform it and say, I didn't bring him any food. Another example, Essen or das Essen, depending on whether it's specific food or not, habe ich ihm nicht gebracht. The food? I didn't bring it to him. And one more rule that always applies. Negation, NICHT, is always placed before proper names, that is, before someone's name. So we say, Das war nicht Bozena, sondern Alice. It wasn't Bozena, it was Alice. Also, das war nicht ich, it wasn't me. It's as if ich were a proper name, but of course, it's not. By the way, pay attention that we can also use the article before proper names. For example, ich bin die Bozena. I am the Bozena. In this case, we mean the Bozena, as if it's a specific person we are referring to, like the Bozena. You know, the one you forgot about. Here, Bozena uses the definite article, like in Ich bin die Bozena, or simply, Ich bin Bozena. My name is Bozena. Yes, this is an Anglicism, but it's common in modern German. Now we know that negation NICHT is always placed before proper names. This was our final 8th point. And now, let's move on to something sweet. Let's go. And finally for today, double negation. In Russian, you can say, I'll never go anywhere with anyone, or with nothing. And you think, wow, there are so many NICHT negations. Never, nothing, no one, nowhere, and so on. It sounds like chaos. But in German, we know that there is only one type of negation, meaning you can say only one of these, either NICHT or KEIN. But what if we want to say, I can't not? For example, I can't not say. So we mean, I want to say, right? That's how we translate it. This is called double negation, and in this case, you can confidently use the phrase, Ich kann nicht umhin, zu, followed by a verb. For example, I can't not say. Ich kann nicht umhin zu sagen. I can't help but say it. Ich kann nicht umhin zu erwähnen. I can't help but mention it. Ich kann nicht umhin an dich zu denken. I can't help but think about you. In other words, I do it all the time. So this structure, nicht umhin können etwas zu tun, is translated as can't help but, which is a form of double negation. As you can see, in German, there isn't really a double negation, but we translate it into Russian as a double negative. Now please create similar sentences and write them in the comments. Also, feel free to join our group on Telegram. Here is the link. This is the link to Instagram. On Instagram, we show how the German language works through mini-series. We break down grammar, expand our vocabulary, and learn all the words together. You can also watch interesting stories. And in Telegram, we do tests, solve puzzles, and work on useful crosswords together. So please join all our social networks to stay on top of German language trends. That's all for today. Please leave a like. Have a nice day.